Most attractive astrology placements are Aries, Venus, Libra rising, Scorpio rising, Venus in the first house, and the moon in the first house. Water signs like to stir the pot and then just sit back and watch. 7th house ruler in the 2nd house, you'll probably marry rich. Sagittarius moons need adventure in their relationships. Predictability for them is suffocating. Venus in the 12th house love to listen to...
Yeah, I'm not going to make you watch more of that. How do you speak these words and not just be irreparably embarrassed?
Are women more likely to believe in things like astrology and crystals than men are, and if so, why?
Yes. I feel like women are just more influenced by social media too. Because I find that there's more women on social media, and the more like things like this trend, they just kind of follow it.
100%. I'm sure you've noticed that lots of women are extremely gullible. They'll fall for anything: astrology, mysticism, social media trends. For a lot of women, it doesn't take much to convince them of something. Do you remember back in 2014 when the feminist movement adopted this trend called free bleeding? The idea was that menstrual hygiene products were a symbol of the oppressive patriarchy. It was an act of feminine resistance to just let your blood flow freely. I have some pictures here, one of a woman running and another one of a woman at a beach, who are really committed to this idea. I'm probably gonna have to blur it for the YouTube version because it's not pleasant to look at. I'll leave it unblurred in the Patreon version of this video if anyone really wants to see that. But then it turned out that this whole idea actually originated on 4chan by these male trolls who thought that it would be funny to see if they could convince feminists to do the stupidest thing that they could think of in the name of feminism. The fact that there are men out there who think it's funny to mess with women in this way is not surprising, but it does beg the question, why do women fall for this stuff?
Women are delusional. That's why. And they have to hold on to something like false hope, and that's astrology.
They want to know everything, and if they don't have answers, they'll find answers somewhere else.
Exactly.
You see, to learn something, to understand how things work, takes sustained cognitive effort over a long period of time. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to look at the way that things are and to try and figure out how they came to be that way requires a lot of mental exertion. You need to patiently observe, you need to test hypotheses, you need to consult with multiple sources and go through many processes of logical deduction. It's only then, after all of that sustained effort, that you have a chance of understanding how things came to be the way that they are. But what if you're dumb, or you're lazy, or you just can't be bothered to do all of that work? But you still want to understand how some things work, and so that's when you settle for a lazy explanation like astrology. Why was I fired from my last job? Why did my boyfriend leave me? Why am I still single at 35? To answer these questions, you could do a lot of inner reflection. Think things through, really try and understand how things ended up the way that they are. Or as an explanation, somebody could tell you that it's because you're a fire sign, or because Mercury's in retrograde or something. And for some people, they'll be like, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense. That serves as a legitimate explanation. But then why am I making this gendered? Aren't there some men out there who are dumb and lazy and fall for stupid shit? Yeah. 100%. Some men are total morons. But in this regard, there is something unique about women. Let's watch.
All I'm saying is that if she is independent and she pays her own bills and she takes care of herself and she can cook and she is doing her own damn laundry and she is looking good and staying hydrated and being her very best self, she is one step away from having a literal nervous breakdown.
That's funny because we all inherently recognize that it's not typical for women to be like that. The feminist hero archetype, who's like a bad boss bitch, who's super on top of everything, really competent, that archetype had to be invented because it's not natural for women to behave that way. It used to be common sense to say this. Now it's not politically correct, even though it's true, but men are more inclined towards logic and women are more inclined towards emotions. And that's why women can settle for explanations like astrology, because emotionally it feels true. If you tell most men the reason why he crashed his car was because his moon was rising in Sagittarius or whatever, he's going to completely dismiss it. That makes no sense. It doesn't pass the smell test because it's not logical, but for a lot of women, that's not an issue. She trusts her emotions and she's happy to feel her way to her conclusions. Now you're sitting there thinking, well, that's not going to work. How is this woman going to survive? Emotions are not a guide to reality. They can't be used as a tool of cognition. This is not going to end well for her, surely. equality. But what you've forgotten and you need to understand is that while men need to earn their status, women are gifted it as a birthright. And as a consequence, for a lot of women, they just expect their desires to manifest and just materialize in front of them. What I'm going to explain in this video is that a lot of women are fundamentally at war with the law of causality. I'm going to explain what I mean in just a moment, but first I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Raycon. Raycon have developed a solid reputation of providing premium audio products like their everyday earbuds at affordable prices. I recently dropped my phone, I cracked my screen, and in the after Christmas sales, I bought myself a new one, and transferring my Raycon earbuds over to the new phone was a completely seamless process. I keep the container for my earbuds in my pocket and I whip them out any chance I can get. Yesterday, I was raking leaves in the garden listening to the Tim Dillon podcast, and it was a completely seamless experience. So much easier than fiddling around with earphone cords. If you guys haven't got wireless earbuds yet, you're missing out. There's a reason why these guys have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. The earbuds come with 8 hours of playtime and 32 hours of battery life. They're a consumer-friendly company. They offer easy returns. They offer buy now, pay later options, and even have free shipping. If you want to try them out, click the link in the description box below or go to buyraycon.com/AlexGrace and get 15% off store-wide. Okay, back to the video. I was saying that women are gifted their status as a birthright while men have to earn it. What do I mean by that? I mean that boys do not become men automatically. They have to work hard. They have to achieve something. They have to prove themselves. Only then are they considered to have value, whereas women are just considered valuable from the outset. Women don't really need to earn anything. Just being a woman is enough to be seen as valuable in the eyes of society. If the ship is sinking, then women go on lifeboats first because their lives are considered more valuable. If there's ever a natural disaster, the media always says the number of children and women that are killed, because that's how you know that it's truly a tragic event if women were killed. If men die, well, that's okay, but if women were killed, we need to mention that specifically so that people know that this was a real tragedy. And of course, when young women enter the dating market, they're bombarded with male attention, which further reinforces this belief they have about themselves that they're incredibly special and valuable. Average women with below average personalities will still have a Tinder inbox absolutely flooded with messages from men. And when this is your experience day in, day out as a woman, it's difficult to reach any other conclusion than you must be incredibly special and valuable. And as such, it's normal to expect good things without having to actually do anything to earn them.
I will probably never pay off my student debt, but I would have sex with a guy if he paid off my student loans. Like, I would never sleep my way to the top, but I would for sure sleep my way to breaking even.
Men have such a hard time understanding how women think about this because our experience of life is so different. As a man, you want good things in life, you want success, you want abundance, but you know as an absolute fact, there's no doubt in your mind that if you want those things, you're going to have to go and earn them. You're a man. There's no free ride for you. Nobody's going to come along and gift anything to you. You know that at the core of your being, if you don't do it, then it's not going to get done. But women do not think that way. She wants a happy life, free of problems, where everything is working seamlessly. Well, how is she going to achieve that? Some women, they're going to work hard. They're going to earn the good things that they enjoy. But for many other women, their plan is to get married and have their husband sort that out. That is an option that is available to women that is not available to men. And given that option, many women would prefer that. Why work hard to try and figure out life, how to solve problems? Why go through all that effort and expenditure of energy? That sounds exhausting. I think it's going to be a lot easier if I simply land myself a good husband.
I quit at being independent. I don't want to do this shit anymore. This shit is draining. I'm so ready to have a man come into my life and take care of me. My tires popped. 2 of my tires popped. And I'm sitting in my car because I don't know what the fuck to do. Obviously, I know what the fuck to do, but I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like, I'm ready to have someone come into my life and take care of me. This shit is so fucking draining, this independent life. Like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I quit. Because every time something happens, I always have to figure shit out on my own. And I don't want to do that shit anymore.
It's kind of funny because what she's describing is just typical existence for a man. Problems occur and then you have to solve them. But to her, that feels like a completely unreasonable burden. It's just intolerable. It's beneath her. So whether it's astrology allowing women to, understand how things work without expending any mental effort, or simply landing a husband so that he can solve all of your problems for you, they're connected by a theme. Women like that are fundamentally at war with the law of causality, which means that they want the outcome, but they don't want to be bothered with all of the steps that were necessary to create that outcome. They don't want to know about it. They certainly don't want to participate. They want to experience life and existence as though it were magic. If she feels like she wants something, she wants it to just manifest in front of her. Do you remember that self-help book, The Secret, that was all about just visualizing what it is that you want, and then it just comes into your life? There's a reason why that had so much appeal with women, because it's an extremely enticing message to tell women that they don't need to work for the things that they want. They just need to believe in it. They just need to feel it. They just need to manifest it, and then they'll get it. For women who want to escape the law of causality, that's a much more appealing message than telling them they have to buckle down and work hard to achieve what they want. So let's say she wants people to see her as a happy, glamorous person. She wants that to be her reputation. Well, you know what's a lot easier than actually developing character and positive, likable traits that would lead to organically people having that opinion of you? Creating a social media page where you can curate which images you share publicly that give off that appearance. There's a reason why women are so addicted to social media and Instagram, is because it allows them to circumvent the law of causality. It gives the outcome without them having to bother with the process. But what if instead she wants people to think that she's very moral and very virtuous? Well, there's the hard work process you can go through of actually developing those traits inside yourself, volunteering at charity events, taking on moral causes, actually working for justice. Or you can skip all those steps and then just start denouncing other people as evil. Total virtue signaling, just canceling people. But of course, as the one who's doing the moral condemnation, she elevates herself to this superior place. Again, so much easier because it circumvents the law of causality. It allows her to have the appearance as this very moral, virtuous person when she actually hasn't done anything. And what about wealth? Because it's a lot easier than earning money is getting a man to spend money on you.
Your man probably loves you, but did he buy you a Benz? Did he buy you a Mercedes 2020 AMG? Did he put a $4,000 ring on your finger? 'Cause sis, if he didn't, you need a new man.
I guarantee that she has no idea what that man actually did to be able to afford that car or that ring. She doesn't know the mental effort, the physical work, the planning, the execution, the struggle. She doesn't know about any of that. And here's what's so interesting about women is that she doesn't want to know. She doesn't want to hear about the struggle and the effort. She's actively trying to avoid that knowledge. That would ruin it for her. That's what I'm trying to explain. She wants to escape the law of causality. She wants to live in this fantasy existence where what she desires just magically manifests for her. But Alexander, is this really that bad? I mean, isn't this just typical woman stuff? Okay, she wants to be taken care of by a man. That's just her wanting a provider. Isn't this her being feminine? Shouldn't we support this or even applaud it?
Don't want to be a girl boss. I don't want to hustle. I simply want to live my life slowly and lay down in a bed of moss with my lover and enjoy the rest of my existence, reading books, creating art, and loving myself and the people in my life. Bada boom, bada bing.
Let me be absolutely clear. I have no issue with a woman who wants to be feminine, who wants to be traditional, and to receive things from a man. What I have an issue with is women who do not understand the law of causality and don't want to know what their husband or boyfriend had to sacrifice in order to provide for her. A woman who wants to receive abundance but doesn't show any gratitude, appreciation, or even understanding about what it took to provide that for her. If her man is out there working hard physically, mentally, trying to figure out life, trying to understand reality, and he's putting in a lot of work and effort and mental exertion trying to direct resources and abundance towards her, then at the very least, she should be aware that he's doing that. She should be grateful. She should show respect and appreciation. My issue is with women who don't understand the law of causality. They're the recipient of all of this abundance, all of these resources, but they have no appreciation or understanding that didn't just magically manifest for her. Behind the scenes, there was a man struggling and toiling in order to provide that for her. And that's what stings so much about this this modern culture of radical feminism that we seem to be living in, where men are treated as disposable. It's because there's no appreciation for the man's contribution. But when you tell women that they are goddesses and they are just entitled to everything, then unfortunately the result is that women feel no shame about ruthlessly exploiting men for their own benefit. I say, fuck that.
Why should men serve women if women don't want to consider serving men?
They shouldn't.
Exactly right. In order for a woman to have that experience of abundance, of resources just manifesting in front of her, she should be aware that behind the scenes there is a man working to make that happen. And as her contribution, she should show appreciation, gratitude. She owes him her femininity as thanks. You see, I'm not saying women need to get out there and work really hard. I mean, if she wants to, by all means, but I don't want women to become men. I like feminine women, but I want them to be smart. I want them to understand that if they are receiving something, then they need to give something back.
I want a man to take care of me.
So you want to be a housewife?
I want to be a housewife.
Okay.
Yeah.
The old traditional way?
Traditional. I'll do it. I don't mind. I'll do it. Fuck it.
All right, let's say you meet the guy that does all that. Like, he's willing to take you in, and you basically be the woman to take care of everything.
Yeah.
Now, does he got complete control over you? Like saying, like, all right, delete your Instagram. You can't be dressing all slutty out in the streets.
Here's my thing. I'm not gonna be dressing all slutty and like having Instagram. If I found the one and he gives me everything I need, he doesn't even have to ask me for that. I already did it.
I like this one.
You'll delete it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Without him even having to ask.
What about he wants to every time?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 100%. 100%. If he provides for me, he's a good husband. He's loyal. Everything. He's good to our kids. What more could you ask for in a man? That's what I need. I need a provider.
This is the attitude that I respect. She's quite shameless, saying, I want this from a man, but look, she's willing to hold up her end of the bargain. This is what I'll provide in return, and I would be lucky to have that arrangement. That is a fair trade. That is a good foundation for a relationship. Now, if you're an intelligent guy watching this video and you've heard me say that trying to escape the law of causality is a sin, then you've already deduced that it's somewhat of a moral duty for every man to embrace the law of causality, to understand it, to work with it. The question then arises, well, how do you do that? What is the masculine approach to utilize and embrace the law of causality? How do you practice that? I answered that question in the full version of this video, which is available on my Patreon. What you see here on YouTube, these are just shortened, abridged versions of my videos. The full versions are on Patreon. Typically, I focus on women in my YouTube videos, but it gets a lot more like self-critical, self-introspective for like the masculine side of things in my Patreon videos for you guys out there who really want to take this stuff to a deeper level.